Okay, I am live now. Decided to do an impromptu live stream because there were a couple of questions I saw on Reddit, and I thought, we're about to enter July 4th, tomorrow for us in the United States anyway, and it's going to be a quiet day. So I'm going to stream tomorrow, almost certainly. But since things are just quiet, I thought I'd take this opportunity to stream now because you know how much I do love streaming. Give me a moment as I send a link to this to the Discord. 1 second. And let me fuel up with a Red Bull. My dietitian says I need to stop drinking Red Bull. And I will. Right after one more case of these. Okay. Live and on camera now. Okay. So let's talk about the topic. So the title of the stream is Upgrading Your Drawing Tablet. And this means buying a new drawing tablet. And specifically when you already have one and you want to buy a new one. It's a very common question. We're going to take a look at some of the questions people have. And I want to address a couple of things. Number one, just some basic, I would say, guiding advice. And then to consider a bunch of things that you have to take into account when you're talking about an upgrade. Because fundamentally, I think people are looking for something with the upgrade, and I don't think that drawing tablets, it's easy to guarantee you're going to get what you think you're going to get. That's what I want to do in this session, is explore some of these like really interesting topics, and when it makes sense to upgrade it. What are the reasons you might actually do it? What are some things that might surprise you about an upgrade? And when are there negatives and problems? So again, this is sort of a specialized stream about buying a drawing tablet, but again, if you already have one. Because if you already have one, there are some unique things to worry about. Okay. Now, and since this was a random stream, I am checking chat to see if anyone is going to join. And what I'll do, of course, is take the content here, take the transcript, and create an actual normal video out of it, because this is a topic I want to address. Okay, so one of the things I need to do is figure out how I'm going to draw. I need to draw things for you, right? Now, how do I want to do that? Okay, I think. Actually, before I do that, let me show you some of the questions we actually get on Reddit related to this. And for that, give me 1 second. I'm going to just bring up my. I'm going to bring up a OneNote because I have to paste a lot of things in here. Let's get the sound going. Oh, let me put my ears in. There we go. You should be able to hear. Okay, my audio is not connected correctly. So let's take care of that. Okay, it should. Okay, let's see. Is it playing? Sorry, just got to configure things here. I'm not hearing my own audio come through here. And that's why I'm a little mystified. That is unusual. Hi, Sarvan. Good to see you. I'm just setting up the audio for a second, so as soon as I get this all sorted, I'll begin the main topic. Let's try this again. I'm hearing things there, but I'm not hearing. There we go. Albert, thank you for confirming that. Okay, I think I've sorted up. I can hear, you should be able to hear some jazz in the background. If it's too loud, tell me. I kind of mess around with some things, so sometimes I'm not sure how loud it is for you. And I'm going to turn my levels down a little bit as well. Oh, this these things keep disconnecting. I'm not sure why. I think I have an idea though. I think it's my phone is fighting for it. That's what I think. So I'm going to disconnect Bluetooth on my phone because I think they're having a battle. I'll turn off Bluetooth actually. There we go. That'll. Okay. Now they won't contend with each other. Okay, I needed to get a OneNote going. So let's do that. And, sorry, something beeped at me. I just want to make sure. Oh, I have to turn on Bluetooth. Oh. Okay, sorry. That's so irritating. I had to turn on Bluetooth because it's a little complicated, but there's a device that's measuring something. And I have to make sure that it's always measuring. And it requires my phone Bluetooth to be on. Perfect background levels. Thank you, Albert. I appreciate it. Okay. Oh, man. It turns out I am just going to play the audio also through my own speakers. Tell me if you hear any feedback or anything. There's just a mess with Bluetooth going on right now. Okay. This makes it a little more convenient for me anyway. So, we're going to talk about upgrading a drawing tablet. Okay? And to do that, let's get our notes ready for a second. Because I want to show you a few things. What is today's date? Oh, of course, the July 3rd, right? Okay, and let's go to Reddit, and I just want to show you what some of the things that prompted me to think about the stream. I was taking a walk after I'd seen some of these, and let's get to drawing tablet. And let's just, or Wacom maybe. That might be a better, because it's been so busy. And let's just see what kind of questions people have when they say upgrade, the word upgrade, right? This is a classic question, right? And that is, do I need to upgrade to an Intuos Pro? What a classic question that someone would typically have. Let's paste this in. Classic. Notice the formulation of this question, which is like, specifically, will the Intuos Pro be something that they need, right? And they already have an Intuos. That's a very typical question. We're going to mine Reddit a little bit, and we'll come back and get some of our thoughts out there about upgrades. This is an interesting one. This is your upgrade, and this person already has a Wacom 22 HD. Okay, and this question itself brings to my mind a set of topics that we need to address. So that's good. First of all, that's a pen display. Hey, I actually answered this question. That's nice. Or well, I'm one of the people. And here's another question someone asked. I'm going to go ahead and copy it in here. What happened to the music? I thought I had it going. Try it again. Okay. Let's see what else. Again, we're just looking for some interesting questions. Why do people upgrade? What are the kind of things they're thinking in their head, and how we can address them? Even this one's kind of interesting in its own way. As I was taking my walk thinking about this, I just noticed there are so many. It's still playing that one? Thank you. You're not getting any interference though, right? Like it's not doing any feedback or anything like that? I just wanted to double check. Tell me, or any weird echoes? Let me know if that is the case, because I will definitely fix it if it is. Okay. Let me just scanning through here. Look, this had 18 comments. Okay, so this is a good one because it introduces a new topic, which is cross. Thank you, that one. Thank you. It's so important for me when people confirm that the audio is working. So cross-brand upgrades is a huge topic, actually. So I'm glad we found a question. This is actually a good one because it raises, again, a topic. This is upgrading a certain type, meaning they already have a drawing tablet. Technically, this is not part of the upgrade discussion, but it's a good one. Oh yeah, this is classic. Someone's got an iPad Pro. And let's just keep on finding some good examples here. And if anyone has questions about upgrading, just ask. I'm looking especially for anything where there was a lot of discussion for an upgrade. This has a lot of comments, at least. Maybe that's interesting. Oh, this is a size upgrade. Okay. Classic question. I'll collect a few more, maybe from the Huion subreddit, and then we'll get back and just start our actual discussion. I just wanted to have some real world questions as opposed to me synthesizing an upgrade question. Since it's a more of a casual stream, I decided just to wear this kind of colorful shirt instead of my normal jacket. Should I upgrade? We might find something there. This was in a Huion subreddit, so that could reveal something interesting. And then let me just look at if there's lots of comments. Next upgrade after this could be interesting. Someone already has a Canvas 13. They're looking for something. And again, I'm looking for things where there might be. This has 7 comments. Could be 7 comments. 7 pens. let me just get a few more in here, and then we'll jump to. This is 11 okay. I think this will be my last one I collect. Okay, so we've got some content. It's Casual Friday. That's right, Albert. That is right. And to be honest, it is sometimes a little hard for me to move around in the jacket because the jackets are a little, well, they're not thick, but they restrict my movement. It's hard for me to move my arms in certain ways, which is what jackets are supposed to do. Those kinds of jackets. But I sometimes need to reach so much equipment that it gets a little difficult for me to do it. Another thing you might notice, by the way, in this stream is that I am a little further back from the camera. So you see some more of my arms. I thought that would be more sensible for you because I'm gesturing a lot and that wasn't being captured by the camera. I'm actually going to experiment with going back much further so you can see the desk, so that you get a view of what is what's actually, in front of me. Mir has joined us. Hey, Mir. Look, Mir is up. You're going to build a PC in an hour. Hey, good luck. I am nervous too. I remember the first time I built a PC and I was scared to death. But if you're having any questions, pop into the Drawing Tablet Discord. I'm sure someone will help you there, or into the stream as well. Let's see. Hera, oh, nice to see you. The upgrade question, it's always on everyone's mind. And that, I'm going to address this topic so thoroughly, Hera. Thank you, Mir. I actually was debating, I thought this would be too colorful. I love the look of this color on me in this camera, so I am a fan of this. I might wear it more often. Mir, you like the when the camera's close? Interesting. I can see. Yeah, it is a little bit more personal, isn't it? That's true. So if people have an opinion on it, let me know. I'm really curious. Right. I agree with you. It's more personal. I think the look I was going for by moving it further back, where you can see my desk even, was almost like. Have you seen like Linus Tech Tips? And I think on Fridays they have a special live stream, and you can see Linus sitting with someone at a desk. And I thought that was kind of a nice vibe where you could just sort of see them interacting with things, right? But I get your point. Okay, now I need one more thing because I think I need to draw. Surprise, surprise. And I've got my Cintiq 24 Touch right in front of me. So it's kind of large. And my idea is I'm going to let me put my little earbuds in my earbud holder thing. Because I think it'll be more, what's the right word? Oh, another thing, I can control what you see. I have a Stream Deck device, and that's how I was switching scenes. But now I can actually do it with this iPad, which is connected wirelessly, so I can change like to the overhead view, right? You can't, my hand is over there now. And this makes it, I always try new techniques every time I stream. Now, Saravan, I remember I'm drawing diagrams this time, but maybe I'll stream for a long time and actually draw something again. Okay, so my plan is, I think I'm going to try Microsoft Whiteboard, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a Windows computer, because I think I can manage without having to type. Normally I type comments, but this time I think I'm going to verbally react to them. So let me log in here. And I am so excited. I am just so excited. like I said, you would not believe how complex this streaming setup is. There are now a teleprompter, four monitors, so technically five monitors in front of me, a huge light, two additional cameras. So it went from a very simple setup to quite a complicated one. Okay. Okay, let's just take a look. Mir says, I'm more scared of installing the PSU than me coming home installing Arch for the second. I'll tell you the thing that scared me the most, Mir, was putting the CPU with all those little pins, like in the, whatever you call it, because I was always afraid I wouldn't position it correctly and bend the pins. It turns out it all just fit in naturally without any scary moments. So that worked. And I was so, I had dodged a bullet. Yeah, here, I will actually absolutely do a real desk tour. I showed a picture zoomed out from my camera over there, but it wasn't a great tour, right? And in fact, Hera, you didn't join the Discord at the time. You weren't part of it, but I think about 2 months ago or 3 months ago, I actually took my iPad and I walked around this room and what Mihao calls the tablet grotto, where I have my 100 tablets. And I showed me walking through and talking about the tablets and everything. So I want to do that for real, like walk around and do it, but I just don't know how to. I did that in Discord. I'm not sure how to do it exactly on YouTube. Like stream from a phone or an iPad while I'm walking around. Not totally sure how that would work, but we'll see. Especially since I'm using a Mac here with a certain software, so how I would be able to do that is a little confusing to me. Okay, let's see. What am I trying to do here? Oh, I need to disconnect this. Here, let me show you what I am doing. So this is what I'm going to draw. Okay, you can hear me. Things got a little disconnected. So let me just tell you what happened. So everyone, can you see what I'm seeing? You can see this monitor, right? Or this. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what happened. Hey, Void Outs. So you remember what I was doing? Remember I told you I had moved the camera back, right? Like you can see I'm on this desk. It used to be really close to this desk. I had pulled this out while I was adjusting this this gray box. Yeah, it got disconnected. So that's why suddenly things dropped out. And that gray box is connected to audio and video and everything. So you have to give me a second. I need to connect my teleprompter so I can see you correctly, right? I know you can see me, but I can't see. Well, I've lost one of my monitors effectively. Maybe that won't be bad, but I'm just so used to having it, I'm going to just pause a minute and reconnect it, whatever I have to do to get it reconnected. So just give me a second. I'm going to leave this camera on, and hopefully you can still hear me as I walk around the room. Let's see. This is supposed to be dark. It's going to be connected to this thing. I just need to get the teleprompter to work. And why isn't it working? First I need to make sure if the Mac thinks it's there. System settings, display. Well, you know, we always learn. Okay, it looks like that cable. Oh, I see. Its cable got disconnected as well. Yes, yes. Okay. So you were right, Albert. I did miss a cable. You thought it was a reflection? Well, yeah. I learned my lesson. I'm gonna push these back together because they can't be too far apart. Okay. So I'm gonna come right back. You should still be able to hear me though. I am just reconnecting one of these cables. Gosh. You learn something new every day with the streaming business. Woo! Okay. Okay, that seems like it is actually working. What an adventure. Okay, and you should be able to hear me, and I can see what I'm supposed to be seeing. So if anyone sees anything unusual or is not hearing something, just add it in the chat, okay? What I'm gonna do now is just move my silly little phones away. And I am going to plug in this into another hub, or a dock, I should say, Thunderbolt dock. Okay, Mir, have good luck, please, or I wish you luck on your PC construction tonight. And yeah, please keep in touch with us on Discord if you need help, okay? We'll take care of you. Okay. It's never easy to do all this stuff. Okay, so now I'm gonna disconnect something here. That's power. And I think I need another cable somewhere. Okay, no worries. Where are my cables? Okay, I'm gonna steal that cable. Is that right? Do I have the right one here? Yeah, I think I do. Okay. That was the wrong cable. I disconnected the wrong cable. I disconnected it wrongly again. Sorry, folks. This is the most unusual stream I've had with cable disconnections. Okay. Whew. What a mess. What a mess. This is connected here. Where the heck is that connected? That's what I was looking. You can see how complicated it sometimes gets to deal with the setup. Okay. So this is the power. This I don't need anymore. This is what I need. Okay, let's take a little quick test to see if it recognizes there's a display there, which is good. Let's take a quick look at. Oh, okay, you're seeing almost the right thing, almost. I've got to connect. I've got to duplicate different displays. That's what I got to do here. Hello. settings. So this is, yeah, okay. So I'm going to extend these. And yes, keep changes. I'm going to set this thing. Ben Voigtmas, this is the, not the 16-inch. I don't have one yet. I did order it. It should be in, I was hoping this week, but it looks like it'll be a few days longer. This is still the 24 touch. Let me identify things. So this is 1. So I think I need 2 and 3 to be. Let's extend 2 to 3, or duplicate. Yeah, keep changes. Okay. Now, I'm just going to take a quick test to see if you are seeing things that I'm seeing correctly. Okay, great. You're seeing, you should see this screen, right? When I'm showing you this. Okay, so that's correct. And I just need to make a few changes here to set up the right resolution and open up the whiteboard. And then we can begin our sketching, or not really drawing, but what is it I wanted to do? I wanted this text to be a little bigger on this thing. Yeah, let's try 175. There we go. That way I can see the icons correctly. Okay. What an adventure, huh? And let's get the whiteboard. And we'll create a new whiteboard. I am going to search for other whiteboard apps to try. The PowerPoint thing worked nicely, but for this I thought I needed something with a little more drawing capability, at least one that I'm more used to. But I'll try the PowerPoint. Okay, so now I just need a pen. Guess what? I have one. Pro Pen 2. Okay, and so now I just need to show you what I'm doing here. Let's try this. Let's try this. It'll be active. You can see my face, you can see my hands, and you can see what I'm drawing, okay? So the question, I mean, the fundamental question is like, where's this thing? Why is it not working? Of course. Of course. Hang on a minute. I forgot I have Open Tablet Driver on here. So that's not going to work with this tablet. I need to get my Mac. I'll be right back. It's just tedious. One more time. Okay, I'll be right back. This is the stream of accidents, right? This is the stream that tests my human capacity for patience. The 7 incompatibilities, yes. That's exactly how it feels like right now. Void outs. So, let's now try, let's make sure I have whiteboard up here. I think I do, but just in case I don't. Oh, we have Microsoft Whiteboard online. Yeah, that's what I was using last time. And I need to log in, which means I need to, not that. Sign in, not that. Let's see, at outlook.com. And of course, two-factor authentication has to talk to my phone. And you sign in. Approve. 7 things going wrong. 7 setups. Yeah. I appreciate the support, though. These are some good suggestions for describing the situation. Okay, start with blank canvas. Okay, and I think we're almost there. We're almost there. I really need one computer which is dedicated to being a Windows demo machine here. And next time I will prepare something that is dedicated to being a Windows demo machine. Okay, but for now, at least let me show you what I'm trying to do. Of course it's going to show you that. I need to do a little bit of Mac magic here to duplicate some displays. Let's see. I think I want this to mirror that. Okay, and I think that will. Where the heck is the mouse here? I feel like I just fought a war. 7 things going wrong. 7 things going wrong. Okay, so all this just so I can get a mouse pointer here. Okay, all of that just so I can do one simple little thing. Okay, so what is our question? Our question is fundamentally, should you upgrade? Right? And apologies for my bad writing. But this is probably one of the most popular questions we get on Reddit, in the Drawing Tablet Discord. And there's not one right answer. I think there's a variety of answers that go on. But I will tell you my philosophy. I think there is a default answer. And then once you have this default answer, you work at justifying it. Sorry, you disprove it, right? In other words, I think the answer by default should be no. This is the way you should live this experience. That this is the default answer. No. And we'll talk about what in more detail, right? But you have to justify why upgrade, right? And there are good reasons why you might want to upgrade. And then also we have to understand, I would say, the potential issues. Okay? So that's what we're going to try to do here. I'm going to try to explain why the answer is no, and then how to go through these topics. And there are a lot of little topics. We'll see that as we take a look at the questions from Reddit. Okay? Now, let's start a new whiteboard. Okay. Now, how can I say it? I think the first thing is to realize that this issue gets really complicated because there are different types involved, right? Hera, that's a great suggestion. I will try to make this more of a flow chart, okay? Like I said, I'm going to take a look at the transcript and kind of summarize it, and from that construct it, right? At the very least, I'd like to have a diagram, which is not quite a flow. It might be a flow chart, but it also may just be a worksheet that it'll be served as a good reference, right? Okay, I see Hera's got to head out. If you're back on the train and join us, that'd be great, Hera. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. So what are the types we have? And really, there are two fundamental ones, right? I hate to start out this way, but it's non-standalone, alone, and then there's standalone. And standalone. Okay, and Ben Boykmus, you've got an interesting pasted the in comment there. Let's see. I usually have a philosophy of upgrading on hobby where it is already accessible for a cheap price. You will rarely run into a situation where the tool is limiting you. Treat upgrade as a rewards. Okay, and I think I think it's fair. I would say that there are some tool limitations we should think of here because the tools are very different, especially when you compare the standalone versus non-standalone, right? So in the non-standalone, we have pen tablets, of course, screenless tablets, right? We have pen displays, like the thing I'm drawing on. And then we have, these kind, and there's actually three of these, right? There's like pen computers, which are drawing tablets that are made, these are basically laptops that are drawing tablets that are also laptops. Wacom Mobile Studio is one computer. Huion Canvas Studio is another one. And then another kind would be, I would call these laptops that have pens. So a great example here is the Samsung Galaxy Book 5 360, right? It's and these are all Windows machines here, both these categories. And then finally, your mobile devices, right? That have a pen, right? So I guess the first thing is, let me pick a different color for a second. Let me see if I can find out where the hell the color is. Let's try red here. So there's one set of issues if you're going between pen tablet and pen tablet. Like you're upgrading from a Wacom, one by Wacom to a Wacom Intuos Pro. That's one set of issues, right? There's another set of issues if you're doing this kind of upgrade, right? And there's another set of thinking involved here. And this is where you get some interesting complications because these are different kinds of devices. And then, of course, there's another set of issues if you're going from this entire set to any of these, right? Like you're going from actually, I should have probably drawn it that way. Oops, the Z key stops playing it. Isn't that right? Got it. Okay, if you're going from non-standalone to standalone. So there's three weird, transitions, right? Pen tablet to pen tablet, pen tablet to pen display, and then non-standalone to standalone. And there's three device categories here, so it gets pretty interesting to see what upgrade really means, right? So let's start with the simplest case, which is pen tablets. And let me just quickly check the Discord to see if there's anything going on there that I need to just check on. Don't switch. Someone found a typo in one of my articles. I'll fix that. Okay, let me move this away. So let's start a new whiteboard here. So again, I believe that you should start with a no answer and then explain why, okay? So if we're talking about pen tablets for a second, right? Let's see, Voidouts, Voidout says, I made a huge jump from non-standalone, non-display, so a pen tablet, to a mobile standalone. That's a very interesting jump, right? And I think so for some people that will work extremely well, and for other people, like it's such a big jump, like the experience is very different, and the experience is very different, right? And we're going to talk about that. So let's just talk about the easy case, which is pen tablet to pen tablet, okay? And there's a bunch, so screenless to screenless, non-standalone, right? So why are the reasons people mention upgrading, just in general? And a lot of these will come back to us when we consider the other upgrade cases as well. The first is they believe like the tool is limiting them. And Ben Boykmus actually, limiting, right? That's a belief. I'm not saying it's necessarily the accurate belief, but they believe that. Number two, they may base it on specs. This kind of belief may be impacted by the specs. And which specs are we talking about? Oops. What the heck happened? Did it just erase everything? My God. What a terrible thing to do. Okay. That was wild. Sure. Okay, so why upgrade for pen tablets, right? Let me just rewrite this. Upgrade. This is pen tablet to pen tablet. I'll just say PT to PT, right? So it's like their current tablet is limiting, right? So that's one reason they say. Another reason they come up with is that the specs are better, right? And of course, people will look at specs and say, well, this has more pressure levels or whatever, and so they'll be inclined to do that. Another thing I've seen is, and again, we're just going through what people actually say, right? Another thing I hear people say is it's a reward, right? So here's a great example: is when someone says they graduated. Maybe they graduated from high school to college, or college to their first job, and they want to give themselves a gift. So or someone's giving them a gift. So that's a real thing people talk about as an upgrade reason. Another thing that comes up, it's kind of related to specs, is size. Okay, and what's another one? Brand. Of course. Look, we've had 40 years of Wacom in the market. Of course, Wacom is the leading brand, so people are inclined and do say, hey, I have a Huion or whatever, and now I want to get the brand, the top brand. Can't blame them for thinking that. And let's take a look at the Reddit questions here. And let's just make sure I'm looking at that. Okay. And let's see if we can find any other additional reasons people were mentioning, right? Let's just catalog these. Specs. Oh, yeah, so that's another feature. So features. In this case, this person mentions tilt, right? That's a no. And then it's not explicitly said the full title of it, but it's also like barrel rotation was mentioned here, right? And they were asking about Procreate, so that's another thing I should mention here is apps, right? Some people want Procreate, and let me put that in parentheses. Procreate. Let's take a look at some of the other things people brought up here. Let's see, Ben Boykmus says, on branding, I'm not sure if it is common, but since I have some professional friends in Japan. Okay, I'm really curious where you're going with this, Ben Boykmus. Oh, resolution, that's kind of a specs thing, yeah, specs. Pressure levels, of course. It does seem like once they set into a brand, they use their upgrade path to fix that brand. Yeah, that's a great point. That I'm going to put this up in the side, which is like brand lock-in. That actually comes up. The truth is, I think there is a real advantage to staying with a certain brand, and we'll talk about why that is. brand lock, or I should say, stick with brand is probably another way of putting it. Stick with brand. That's a really interesting topic. Specs. Oh, sorry. I meant to put the word resolution here. Resolution. And this is a retirement gift, right? Let's take a look at the comments and see if anyone said anything interesting. This person talked about, this was a feature thing. They talked about touch. And they talked about brightness, right? Or this is actually more of a specs thing, I'd say. Brightness. Wacom support actually replied to this person. Okay, I think noise is actually a noise, color, right? We just want to identify these because color modes, is that what you call it? Okay, these are some good things. Let's see what this one brings up. Size we've covered. Cost, of course. Oh, age is actually interesting. That's another thing that comes up here. Age. Driver support. That's another thing that comes up here. Anything else? Okay, this is good. Yeah, we're doing some good mining here and identifying topics for what people need to be thinking about. This is the driver issue. He's saying, it's an extremely vintage Bamboo Fun from 2019, but it is no longer compatible with the latest drivers, right? So no one answered this question. This was 4 months ago. I should actually go and ping this person. Color accuracy, I'll add that. Color accuracy, good one. And I know I'm writing sloppily. I'm going to take all this and I'm going to put it in the OneNote so it's clear, right? In fact, I should have started with that. I didn't realize I'd be writing so much. I thought I'd be drawing diagrams more. I need to follow up with this person, so I will definitely find out what they went. Tired of cheap Huion, I want to upgrade. So this is kind of a brand question, right? Because this is someone who has a perception of the brand about cheapness, right? And this is kind of like I don't have a better way of saying this. There's a cost signal, right? It's a brand signal related to a cost signal. Looks like I actually answered this. This was for a pen computer, so memory upgrade. So I think this is not the kind of upgrade I'm talking about. Not like upgrading the specific tablet, but like getting a new device. So I'll remove this one. Let's see. Oh, this was interesting. This person was talking about an iPad Pro going to a Cintiq Pro, right? It's a valid question. It's a valid question. I hadn't even considered that as a possibility, right? So we'll address that. This is a size change from 13 to 24. Oh, this is another one. This is the, I'm putting boxes so I can't indent. This is the Pro signal. What's that mean? Sometimes people just want a Pro tablet because the word Pro is in it. So that's a thing that happens. Because they would assume that Pro means better. And this one 2 years ago. They do mention lag here, or pointer lag. So we should talk about that. Oh, pens. Yeah. So there's like interesting, right? Pens. Some people, pen choice. And it's both because they might want to upgrade pens, they want better pen, or they might want, or a tablet with a better pen. Maybe they've heard something about these pens. Or they might want a physically different pen because it's slimmer or thicker or whatever. Slippery glass. That's another topic that comes up. This is good. This is all like some interesting stuff. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, this is stuff we looked at, which was from different kinds of tablets. Let's just put this down in a little bit more readable format and start formulating our opinion about whether upgrading should be done, right? So let me add a new page, and I'll move this up to the top. Oops. There we go. And this is upgrade notes. Right. So here are like sort of like the reasons given for upgrade. Let's do a little, let me make this a bit bigger for you, if I can. Oh, I want to hide this section. I'm not sure how to do it anymore. There we go. And then make this a little bigger. Reasons given for upgrade. Indeed. So, or just reasons or issues or topics. One was cost signal. The belief that the current tablet is limiting better specs, and some ones that got brought up were pressure levels, a lot of these are related to display stuff, so I'm going to put them in separate lines. These are kind of like general, and these are like display stuff. Which was what? Brightness, resolution. I'm sorry, I'll put this all in one line. Brightness, resolution. AG noise, color modes, color accuracy. Since they mentioned resolution, this is display resolution, I should also add digitizer resolution. Resolution and report rate, right? I'll also put pen specs. This IAF, max pressure, buttons, rollers. Oh, another thing, I'll get into features in a second. Active area size. Let's see. Oh, refresh rate also, of course. Brand, features like, what did they say? They said tilt, barrel rotation, touch, wireless, What was the other one I just had at the top of my head? Oh yeah, buttons and dials. I should probably put tilt under specs and rail rotation because it's not really a separate feature from drawing. So I'll leave it there. Drawing. I'll call it drawing features. How's that? And am I missing any comments? Let me just double check. No, I haven't got everyone's comments. Apps. They ask about apps a lot. Procreate was a great example. Age, driver support. Sort of like, I would call this ergonomic complaints. Slippery glass comes up a lot. Lots of texture questions, actually. Pointer lag is really kind of a general drawing features, I would say. Oh, along with that parallax, pointer lag. We don't have to address every topic. I just want to make sure we're touching on the things people have asked about, or I think they would ask about. Driver support. Brand. And under brand, it's stick with brand or switch brands. Right? Pointer lag, slippery glass. Oh, pen choice. That's the other thing. Pen choice. Okay. So let's just go through here and just talk about some of the things that that come up. But let me start off by saying again, I think if anyone's upgrading, they should start with a position of no and be clear on why they're upgrading. And the truth is, I think most people are probably upgrading sometimes for kind of reasons that at surface level seem like they make sense. But as you dig into it, that they're not going to get any improvement, right? So I just want to make sure we're able to identify those things for people, right? The first thing I would probably tell people is, because I've seen this in some posts, which is cost. And when I wrote the cost signal, what that means is the cost is signaling to them that there is some value or quality, okay? And I don't think people should think that way, right? In other words, don't use cost as a measurement of quality, right? I think it's a bad thing to do because things that are more expensive aren't better, right? Necessarily better. I forgot the different device types. We'll get that in a minute. This is switching from pen tablet to pen display or non-standalone to standalone. We'll get to that a little bit later when we talk. One of the things I would ask them just in general, and I'm not sure how to really express this in the stream, but it's how fundamental the dissatisfaction is with the tablet they have. In other words, and this language may be a little too exaggerated, but the question I would think about them answering is, do they feel like they're fundamentally blocked from, if they're doing art, for example, if they're doing creative work, do they feel fundamentally blocked from creating something, using their device for creative tasks? But if they're not, I don't think there's a compelling case for an upgrade. At least they have to find a compelling case, right? So this would be my first big question, like, are they fundamentally, like, blocked from working with the device they have? If they're not like, hey, I hate I hate my device, or it's not working, right? I mean, let me give you an example. I hate it. If they're saying things like that, I hate it. It's broken. You know, it doesn't work. These are words that signal a kind of blockage. And I use this word blocked deliberately. In Microsoft, we say the word blocked a lot. Like, I'm blocked from doing something. This implementation, our team is doing something, and because we haven't completed some work, it's blocking progress from another team. So when I say the word blocked, it has a kind of a very intense, specific meaning of a thing that's fundamentally preventing you from making progress, right? So if that is something that's fundamental, you should be able to enumerate what that is, right? And be clear, it's fundamentally preventing you, as opposed to a nice to have thing, right? And we can see as we go down through here which things are nice to have and which ones are fundamental blockers. Okay, let me take a quick look at the Discord just to make sure there aren't any more questions. I don't think there are, but okay. And let me get some water. Okay. So let's deal with specs, right? We talked about pressure levels, digitized resolution, report rate. Are there any other, I've called these general drawing tablet specs. They're very generic. They all have them. Honestly, I think you should never upgrade because of these reasons, right? I don't think it makes a difference, right? I would say do not upgrade to get better specs here. I don't think it makes any sense. Better numbers for these specs. That would be my guidance. The number of pressure levels, I've talked about this many times on the stream, on my streams and videos. They don't make a big difference. Now, there's a bit of misunderstanding I think people have about pressure levels, so that's fair that they ask this, and so they need to be educated around what that is. And I think you guys, just to summarize my position again, the amount of what matters is low IAF and relatively high maximum pressure, right? So let me just note that down. Instead of pressure levels, what you should target is a low IAF and relatively high max pressure, right? And this is, of course, these are attributes of the pen, not the tablet, right? So what is low IAF? I would say for most people, it'd be less than or equal to 3 gram force, right? That's what you should target. And for max pressure, I think you should target more than or equal to 400 gram force, right? There's some variability there, but I think that's what you should target. If you're using a pen which has, like your current pen is, 6 gram force, 10 gram, there's some pens like that. You should target getting a tablet that meets specs like this. And of course, there's variation, but this is a logical reason to upgrade, and that would deliver you an actual benefit, like a perceivable benefit. And so that's another thing I think I would just add here, just a general topic, which is switch general items here, right? Start from no. Identify a clear, perceivable, if I can spell perceivable, benefit, right? Hey, Kanto, nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. We're just going through, what are the kind of things people bring up when they want to upgrade, and which ones they should pay attention to, and how to approach this upgrade question. So where I'm at right now is, I said, for the normal sort of specs, like pressure levels, digitizer resolution, report rate, don't focus on upgrading those things because they're not going to provide a meaningful benefit. For pressure levels, you shouldn't pay attention to that. You should pay attention to different things, right? And I gave some senses of what those things are. So pen specs do matter, right? So yeah, these definitely matter, right? As I just said a second ago, these matter. So these are, meaning these are logical reasons. These are like, sorry, what I mean by these matter, these can provide real benefits. So that's a reason to upgrade. Drawing features, tilt, yeah. I'm going to separate these out a little bit. I'm going to call these, let me do these line by line actually. Tilt, yeah, I just think, like, if you really need tilt, and lots of people don't use tilt, right? I don't use tilt. I know many artists who don't use tilt, and the reason for that is it can make it harder for you to control your strokes, the width of your strokes or the opacity of strokes. So don't automatically get a tablet that has tilt, right? Another great example here is if you are taking notes, for example, you don't need tilt, right? Barrel rotation. Barrel rotation, it's similar to tilt. Like if you really need it and actually maybe a better example would be like, or confirm that you have a brush. There is a brush you are going to use that requires tilt. If you can say this is the case, then it makes sense to buy a tablet that has tilt if your current one does not have tilt. Kanto, your question, I guess the first level of answer is yes, but we should be clear about what's being said. So let's do a little, FAQ, right? So first of all, tilt is a function of the tablet, not the pen, right? So basically the way the EMR pens work, they don't know about tilt. None of the pens do, even the pens that, quote, support it. They're just EMR pens, and it's just due to the very nature of the way EMR pens work that tablets can sense their tilt, okay? Sometimes tablets or the marketing of a tablet brand can talk like, oh, this pen supports tilt, but this doesn't. This other pen doesn't. But it's actually the tablet, right? So in theory, some tablets, any tablet that says it doesn't have tilt is deliberately disabling tilt. Does that make sense? But to your question, now since we've translated that to, are there pens without tilt? Are there tablets without tilt? So there are very few tablets. Very few tablets. Modern. We will talk about barrel rotation in a second. Modern tablets do not support tilt. It's different. Contour barrel rotation is different. We'll talk about that in just a second. So here's an example of some tablets that do not support. One by Wacom. This is the CTL X72 series. What is it? The Intuos is it CTL? I believe it's CTL. X1, X being a number, and CTL X. Is that right? Yeah, okay. X. I think these two don't. I have to double check on these ones. On the second one. And then the Huion Frago S. The M does support tilt though. So weirdly enough, it's Wacom where we see tablets that don't support tilt, right? And I'm gonna have to check on this one. I'm gonna have to check on. Hey, Janice. Oh, Janice has asked a great question. since we're talking about upgrades, let me just ask, is this going to be an upgrade for you? Like, do you already have a tablet? While you're answering that, let me just say, I love that tablet. In fact, I was my all I had two ideas for a stream today. One was going to be talking about upgrade, and the other was going to be talking about 22-inch tablets. And the Artist Pro 22 Gen 2 is actually currently my top recommendation for a 22-inch tablet because it gives the most sort of bang for the buck, right? Don't get me wrong, Cintiq Pro 22 is better, but that tablet is also $3,000, right? So yeah, I love the Artist Pro 22 Gen 2. And Janice, let me just paste in my my document because I did take some notes here on this tablet. Let's see, Pro 22 Gen 2. Yeah, I'll paste it in there. Yeah, and I'm very happy with it. I'm very happy with it. So you can see right here my comments are, this is my favorite tablet in the Artist Pro Gen 2 series. It is. It's my favorite non-Wacom 22-inch pen display, right? So if you're going to start out with this, I think it's a great choice. And you mentioned some other ones here, like the 19. I think this is better than the 19. I think it is better than the 19. And the 24, I don't think the 24 is as good as this one, right? And I would agree with you, the 4K is a little wasted on the 19. Also, to be honest, I think the 19 feels very similar to a 16. So you're paying a lot more for something that doesn't feel very different. But the 22 really does feel different, right? Now, one thing I'll say is the 22 does have wide bezels. So take a piece of find the actual physical dimensions and cut out a piece of cardboard and be ready for how big it's going to be on your desk, right? Because that's the only, it does occupy some real space. But yeah, I love the tablet, right? And of the Pro Gen 2 series from XP Pen, the one that, it had a difference. In the unit I tested, it had really good tilt compensation and very low diagonal wobble. So I was very happy with it. Right? So yeah, just take a look at that. And Janice, I'm going to send a link to our Discord in case you want to join that to ask more questions because, there are other people who may have something to pipe in. Let's see, where's my Discord? How do I get the Discord there? Okay, hang on. I got to find the Discord now. I still have to do a review video of that thing. Let's see if I can copy this link. Oh, you already did that. Okay, great. Yeah, the bezels. I've become a bezel believer lately. Kanto, yeah, I like your idea. Someone should open an experience center, right? I think it's got to be tough though because these are big devices, and they're very expensive. Some of them, right? And it's got to be a tough proposition to have the retail space to do it. I have heard there are some places in the world where you can try out some Wacom tablets and some Huion tablets, but they're very, very rare, right? Like I think I saw a picture of one in Japan or something, but it's uncommon to say the least. Ideally, I would think, I don't know, maybe some sort of community college or something should have like a digital art day where they have some of these devices available for testing. But again, some of them are expensive, right? I agree. A tablet museum, boy, that's what I've almost got built in my house. And yes, tablet companies should fund it. I think it would be interesting. I mean, tablets I think are still very niche devices. If they were it's hard to have retail presence, right? I mean, Apple does a good job, but they move a lot of units. Remember, Microsoft had Microsoft Retail Store, and they canceled that, right? What is it? Right after the pandemic, because I guess it wasn't getting enough traffic. I mean, I'm guessing what he wasn't getting internet traffic. Certainly the one local to me was getting enough. It's such, see, Janice says it's usually such an expensive investment, and not having some sort of demo is a real deal. But I agree. I feel really, I sympathize with people that spend money on a drawing tablet and they get a pen display and it doesn't meet their expectations. And if they have spent maybe $1,000 or $2,000 and maybe it's because they got it for their child too. And, as a parent, they feel disappointed and the child may be frustrated. If they had the opportunity to try these things out, their expectations would be tempered. So I wish there was something we could do. But yeah, because they're such niche devices. However, I will say this. Since lots of people have iPads, I've been using that to help educate people about what a drawing tablet would be like. So for example, that's one of my first questions when someone says they're going to buy a drawing tablet. I'll say, do you have an iPad? And I'll say, well, if you use the Apple Pencil with that first. Because if you like that, only then you can consider getting, a drawing tablet. But once they've drawn with an iPad, with an Apple Pencil, then they have a frame of reference of like how much lag there should be, what the screen should look like, how heavy it should be. So that helps. That definitely helps. Now what I need is more people to have some kind of device already, like a Samsung Galaxy Tab S6 or something that has a pen. That way it'd be easier to explain, a pen display is like this, but it's slightly different in these ways from the device you already use every day. Because we'll never be able to give them a place where they can try it out. Or at least not the vast majority of people. Okay, barrel rotation. So this is unlike tilt. Okay. Unlike tilt, barrel rotation depends on the pen having a different EMR design. And the tablet has to know how to handle that pen. So unlike tilt, where it's just really the tablet, the pen is special. And the tablet has to know about these special pens. Right? But like tilt, you may not need it. Most don't need it. Most people don't need it. Let's see, Janice says, that was actually a big help. I went to the Apple Store on numerous occasions and spent some time getting used to drawing on display. See, that's great. That's why I'm glad you did that. That's a great thing I'd recommend people to do. Right? See, Ben Boykman says, is it common in Japan, Ben Boykman, to get, if you have photos of it, share it, because I didn't know. I wish that was common elsewhere. So I think, again, like tilt is like, are you, confirm that you are going to use a brush that requires it. Right? If you don't have a brush that you're going to use that requires it, then why bother, right? It's extremely common. Wow, okay. Okay, pointer lag. This is interesting. Honestly, okay, I'm going to say it out loud and then people can tell me what they think. Honestly, my feedback is don't worry about this one. Don't worry about this one. Right. The only people who should worry about pointer lag are like players, OSU players. Okay. Vast majority of people just won't notice. However, they should keep in mind that pointer lag is very obvious in pen displays compared to pen tablets. Well, this interesting. Japanese consumer mentality loves to test out products to be firm on their purchase. I didn't know that. So even Huyan, who has their own store 5 minutes from Yodobashi, still sends all their tablets. Oh, wow. Okay, interesting. Interesting. So they deliberately try to make sure that their products are everywhere, or where people are going to test them out in Japan. Didn't know that. I thought it was super rare, actually, in Japan, but it looks like it's much more common than I realized. So the solution for people who need to test out a tablet is go to Japan. That's a solution. Okay, parallax. I would say, again, unless it's really bothering you. Oh, I should say only if it's really bothering you. It is really bothering you. Sorry, I'm typing in so sloppily. And then, try to confirm that the upgrade tablet is really better. And the truth is, most modern pen displays have low parallax. Low parallax. Though I still think, iPad has the least parallax. Let's see, Konto says, I just Googled and find out there's one by Wacom nearby. I'm not sure if they have the latest models. Interesting. I got confused there for a second because when I read one by Wacom, I thought the one by Wacom tablet. So it took me a second to realize you meant a location by Wacom. Brightness. I'm not sure. I have to think about what I really wanted to say about brightness. Resolution. Okay, I'm going to give some advice, right? Basically, I would say you don't need to max out resolution in every case. I mean, am I wrong? One by Wacom, right? Everyone thought that, right? So let's try this. I think for 13-inch, you only need full HD to WQHD. Not 4K. For 16-inch, I'd actually say the same thing. I think you're kind of wasting your time with 4K. 19-inch, it's almost the same place. Maybe 4K. Maybe 4K. For 22-inch, I would say FHD is not enough. So you need QHD or 4K. 24-inch, same thing. You're not going to be happy with full HD. Yeah, I'll get to that. Kanta, about the sparkle. And 27, I think you need 4K, right? So I would say upgrade in these cases, but if you're going to upgrade from let's say you have a 13-inch and you want a 4K 13-inch, I don't think it's going to help you, right? And then we'll get to the AG sparkle. I have AG noise there, right? So yeah, as PPI gets larger for the same AG treatment, then you will notice, you may notice more AG sparkle, right? But AG sparkle is very specific to the model, okay? And it does not show up on YouTube or photos or ads, right? Most people don't even mention it. Most don't even mention it. So you have to ask normal users about it. You got to do that. So yeah, but so I guess my point here, it depends on the specific model. So for example, you mentioned phones having some high PPI, right? It's not that high PPI things always have AG sparkle. It's that the AG treatment they use, is combined with resolution, right? So some devices have just an AG resolution, an AG treatment that doesn't have much sparkle at all. So iPhone's like that, right? But some tablets have an AG treatment that just loves creating sparkle, right? So you got to watch out for that, because again, it's not something, you don't want to get like a high resolution thing and then be like, oh, this is not a good experience. You will really dislike. So I'll just put that on. You will really dislike getting an upgrade pen display that has more AG sparkle than the tablet you already have. Right, so you have to watch out. Let's see. Let me play my music again. Hang on. Okay. Apple is pretty stingy on their monitor. Really specific on the specs. Ben Boykman says, like their MacBook, out of the box are 2x DPI. With this screen PPI is already 200 plus. Conte, you're sensitive to sparkle? Yeah, I think most people don't realize that they are sensitive to it, because most devices we encounter don't have much of it. Like monitors don't tend to have it. But you'll really notice it on pen displays, because we have to have some grain, right? So we can draw. Kanto, actually Wacom has, as a brand, and as an entire brand, they've had the least sparkle of any pen displays ever, right? Like if you put your eyeball like right next to it, like this, you might notice a little bit of like rainbow color, but like even then it would be hard to tell. In fact, I will do it right now to this tablet, right? And I'll tell you if I notice it. Hang on. My eyes are like this far, and I can just see a little bit of slight rainbow tint, right? I mean, no one can tell, even like at this distance, where I'm like, you just can't tell. You might tell that the screen is textured a little bit, but it doesn't seem like, any kind of harsh or irritating sparkle. But yeah, Wacom has the least that I've seen. Though now Huion, their newer models are getting there, and so is XP Pen. So, and these days, modern pen displays have not that much. You just have to be very careful when you're buying an older one. So maybe I should just write that down. So modern displays to have less. Always verify, especially for tablets that are older. Okay. Let's talk about some of these other things. I'm not a color person. I don't know how to talk about color, so I'm just going to ignore that for right now. Refresh rate, I think only if it is critical for your work, right? Let's see, that one. Is the sparkle that shimmer that goes across Google Image? Let me show you that one, and then you'll see. We'll take a look, Conte, about the move ink. Anti-glare sparkle. Okay, so I made 2 videos about it. I'm going to paste it. That one, I'm going to paste the link to this in the chat. So here's what it looks like. Okay, so let me zoom in on this picture here. Do you see this on the left? There's no anti-glare treatment. There's an anti-reflective treatment here. You might notice there's just a little bit of kind of color noise. This is an iPad, by the way, on the left. Okay. And this is a Huion Canvas 16 Pro 4K. That's a model that came out, I think, in 2021. Now, the picture exaggerates the effect a little bit, but not that much. But you can see how intense the coloration is here, right? Like if you're moving your eyes, it will sparkle. It will literally sparkle. So they use very different treatments. So I really shouldn't say no anti-glare treatment. There is some treatment there, but it's just very different in how it works than here. And of course, it shows more reflected light here, right? Glare than on this. But it's a trade-off. I think on the iPads it works. On the Huion, I think they overdid it. So that's what it looks like. And that's with white. If you zoom in, it can also look kind of more blurry. So here it is just with the green pixels, and you kind of zoomed in a lot. It can just look like this. Here's another picture that demonstrates it. Do you see it? When it's white, it just looks like maybe some variation in darkness. But especially when it's green, I've noticed it's very visible. Hey, it's Cami Luna has joined us. Thank you, Cami Luna, for joining us. Appreciate it. Okay, everyone's asking about anti-glare sparkle, so we'll answer everyone's questions. Janice is also asking. So let me deal with who asked a second ago, Conto, and then we'll answer your question, Janice. So that's why I write things down, folks. I actually look at these things and I take a look. Okay, so I almost always. Let's just see. I don't know if I did this. Heat. Did I have for sparkle here? Oh, this was the move ink. I will take. Okay, give me a second. I'm gonna go get the move ink, and we're just gonna answer. We're just gonna answer the question. Okay. So 1 second. I'll be right back. And then we'll talk about the Artist Pro 22 Gen 2, okay? I'll be right. Okay, I am back. Let's get my music going again. So yeah, the moving should not have much sparkle. I have moving right here. It's, I wish I could show you any sparkle, but it can't be transmitted correctly through a video. You just got to see it with your own eyes. So I just need a cable here. There it is. And give me a second. I'm pretty sure, I'm like a 99.9% sure the answer is it has like none. But I will check, or very little. Let's see. This is the moving. I'm plugging it into a Microsoft Surface Pro 8. It's turning on. You can see what I'm doing here, nothing surprising. Let me just open up PowerPoint. Oh, this thing doesn't have the touch because I don't have the Wacom driver. Let me move this. Let me create a new slide. I just need a white field. And I'll move it here. And I'll take a look. How about this? I'll compare it to the iPad as well. So the iPad is higher resolution. I would say the iPad has, so there's a very tiny amount of sparkle. You'd have to be trying to pay attention to it, but it's definitely more than the iPad, right? I don't think anyone with normal usage would say anything about the moving having sparkle. You'd have to get your eye really, my eye's just a couple, like 2 inches away, 3 inches away. And it's very slight. But the iPad's even better than that. So I hope that helps. Let's see. And then, yeah, so Kanto, I think we answered your question. And that one, yeah, if you see a lot of sparkle, people will really hate it. So Kami Luna, you notice it with the Artist Pro 16 Gen 2? Because I think that doesn't have too much actually, and at least my eyes don't register it. Okay, and then now what we need to do is, Janice asked about I think I took notes about this, that's why I wanted to. Okay, let me just disconnect this here. And I'll make sure to add my note about sparkle to the moving doc. Let's take a look here. This was the Artist Pro 22 Gen 2. Let's see. Oh, I do have a section anti-glare sparkle. Okay. Very good is what I rated it, Janice. Low amounts of AG sparkle. Looks like I felt it was just slightly more than the Cintiq Pro 22, which is very good. And very similar to the Huion Canvas Pro 19, which has very low sparkle. Okay, so I hope that helps. The one thing you may want to note, Janice, even though you didn't ask, I just want to make sure I'll point this out for you and anyone else. The Artist Pro 19 has the pixels are slightly sharper than the Huion Canvas 19. You can sort of see a comparison there, right? Now these are photos, and in both you might see a little bit of the sparkle. It's very slight, but definitely I think the Artist Pro 19's pixels were just slightly sharper than the Huion Canvas. So if you were thinking about both those tablets, because they're both 19 inches, definitely it has sharper pixels. Okay. Oh, wait. Elsevier is back. Let's see, anti-glare sparkle. Yeah, I think you're right. It's just a matter of how much, because some can do enough anti-glare where it doesn't cause the sparkle so much as it causes things to be a little blurry. That's what happens with the Huion Canvas 19. You, Konta, you can see the sparkle. You can the sharpness. Yeah, it's rare to get a photo that captures it, but I think these do bring it out. Let's see. Just getting the next iPad Pro with the M5 chip might be the best thing for me. Honestly, I think for a lot of people, the iPad is just it's the best choice for. I mean, between it and the Samsung, let's say Tab 9s FE, those are the two like good standalone choices. Okay, let us get back to the notes here. So refresh rate, some people, I think if it's really critical for your work, then having 120 hertz, right? So a typical monitor, typical pen display just has 60 hertz refresh rate, but so it's rare in pen displays to have more than 60 hertz. I can think of, like 1, 2, 3, 4. I can think of 4 pen displays I know of that have 120 hertz or above. So very rare. Elsevia says the first 16 4K Wacom Cintiq was a glare. Was it? I didn't know that. Okay, active area size. So I forgot. I actually have numbers for these sizes, but let's just stick to small, medium, large, right? So basically, I would say small to medium that's a good upgrade, honestly. I think that's a very good upgrade. Medium to large. Oh, sorry, this is for pen displays. I would not tell someone like only if you are absolutely sure you need the size and you draw in a style that benefits it from it. Okay, because you have to make there's lots of adjustments working with a large pen tablet. Oh, Elsevier, you mean sparkle? Yeah, I didn't know that. Thanks for clarifying. Cammy Leonard says there's lots of reasons why the iPad would be a superior standalone tablet. Most people who prefer other brands hate something about the iPad. This includes myself. So wait, there are things about the iPad you hate, so you prefer other brands. Is that correct? Hey, Nizio Martin, good to see you. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. We're just talking about what people should think about as they think about upgrading. Pen tablets. I think for pen displays it's more complicated because there's a bigger range of sizes to deal with. So I would just say this: 13. It's a nice upgrade. It's not world changing though. Okay, in my opinion. Does that make sense the way I say that? It's not like it's going to revolutionize your world, right? 13 to it's a good noticeable upgrade, right? Now, getting into like 13, because we have to do it in pairs, right? To 22 is like, it's a different world, right? Make sure you can deal with such a large device on your desk. Stephanie says, I have a 188 hertz refresh onto my monitor. It's so much better to watch brush shape moving fast. You know what? Stephanie, I'm glad you said that. I'm just not used to high refresh rates. I've told this story before, but I don't think everyone here has heard me say it. So I watched movies. How I got the movies as MP4 files is another question. But I have a bunch of files that are movies, and I watch it on a big TV, so I'm playing it on my laptop, right, on a big TV. And that TV, I was just messing around with it one day just to check something, because there was some odd glitch. Anyway, long and short, I realized I had been watching movies for a year and using it to draw art with for a year at 30 hertz. And I didn't notice. So I'm really not sensitive to high refresh rates, right? Of course, I switched it to 60 hertz. I mean, once I knew it, I could tell, but it didn't jump out at me that it was 30 hertz. So that's how bad I am. I've only used 120 hertz one time, actually. I mean, when I was testing, a couple of times when I was testing out the Wacom Cintiq Pros. Oh, Nizio, that's a great question. We will tackle that. I love that. Give me a minute, and we will get there. Remember that question, okay? About the laptop, because I do have a comment on laptops as part of this upgrade, right? Okay, let's just take a look here. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Cami Luna's question. Don't like the feel of the pencil. Oh, file management does. It's absolutely horrid on iPad. Yeah. I would agree with that, Cami. I mean, I find this very irritating things in iOS, yes. I have to be honest with you, I'm very confused by file management on iOS. Very, very confused, right? Let's see. I'm here to see if I'm convinced to buy the XP Pen Artist 22 Pro Gen 2 or the new Cintiq 24. My main display right now is Cintiq 22 HD and XP Pen 90. Let me try to tackle this. I guess maybe one question I have for you, Nizio/Martin. I always say Nizio/Martin because I know him as both usernames. Do you have a preference on the size? Because you mentioned you have a Cintiq 22 and the XP Pen 19. Is there anything about the 22 or 19 where you like the 19, maybe the smaller size? I'm just curious. I will say this, okay, and this is really what I think. Because I was actually going to do a video today about 22-inch pen displays, right? I literally had slides prepared to talk about the XP Pen Pro 22 Gen 2 and the Cintiq 24, the exact two things you talked about, among some others. So, strictly speaking, of 22-inch pen displays, the XP Pen Artist Pro 22 Gen 2 is the one I recommend. It's got the best bang for the buck, absolutely. And it's super cheap right now. Let's just take a quick look at, it should be on Amazon. Let's see, what is it? XP Pen Artist Pro 22 Gen 2. Let's take a look. Okay, this is listing it right now at $570, so just under $600, okay? And what is the Cintiq 24? Cintiq 24, 2025. Oops. I didn't type it in correctly. Cintiq 24. Yeah, let's try that. So about twice as much. Okay, but I put them next to each other, and the Cintiq 24 is about this. I mean, it's very close to the same size as the XP Pen because the XP Pen has wider bezels, right? Um, the Cintiq 24 is a better pen display, right? Like this screen probably has less anti-glare sparkle, I think, and of course it has the Pro Pen 3, and it is a Wacom. But I do think that the XP Pen 22, the Pro 22, is again, it's still the best bang for the buck, right? For about half the price, you're getting almost everything that you're getting with the Cintiq. Like the pen isn't quite as good, that's true, but it's not bad. It's still a pretty good pen, right? So I don't think you can go wrong. I just maybe, as we're going to get into later in this video, the stream is, if you already have experience with you have experience with both, obviously. So, it's not going to be a disturbance for you. It's not like you're switching brands since you already have both, right? But keep on asking questions in the chat, and if we may address more detail if you want. Okay. Let's see. Kanto says the iPad OS seems to have fixed the file manager, but not sure how much better it is. El Sevilla says 24-inch caused me back pain. Huion was smaller than Wacom. If you use a second monitor and keyboard, it's hard to be ergonomic. A second monitor. Interesting. Is it because I'm curious about that last comment. If you use a second monitor and keyboard, it's hard to be ergonomic. Is it because they're not aligned with the direction you're looking? 22 inch or 20. Yeah, I think 22 inch is perfect for me. Like just the way I sit and, whatever, like it works great for me. Also, Wacom Touch heats up like you're making. Hey, what's good here is the new Cintiq 24 Touch I kept it at 100% brightness for an hour, and it felt almost the temperature of the desk. So and it has no fans. So they kept it cool. They're keeping cool somehow. I don't know why. I don't know how. Kemi, you noticed the same thing, though? I hadn't heard of this. It's interesting. I promise you, though, the Cintiq 24 was kept cool. I have a little IR camera, so I'll try it with the Cintiq. Okay, let me get back to 16 to 19. It's like, to me, it feels too similar. Right? Like, they're just too similar. I don't think it's worth it, 16 to 19. 16 to 22. I think that's a worthy upgrade. It feels like an upgrade. So noticeable difference. Good upgrade, right? And of course, 16 to 24, it'll just, it'll start to feel like a different world. Yeah, Kanto, I haven't noticed. For me, it's not that touch has been the cause of heat. I've just noticed them in general with pen displays. Different world. So these are just some thoughts, because most people have 13-inch pen displays and 16. I think, this is my feedback on how trying to upgrade in size works, right? So hopefully this will help people. Now, people have different ideas about changing sizes. I'd love to hear it. But if people have more than 16, which is pretty rare, then, as long as they're like a bigger size, it's fine. I think they know best since they've already using something that big. Okay, now brand changes come up a lot when we're talking about upgrading. So I think there is an advantage, honestly. It is a practical. with the same brand, right? Okay, let's see. The main reason I want to upgrade is due to the touch. Yeah, touch can be useful if if you're someone who has scenarios where you use it. It can be incredibly useful, and it is not like really. It's not like a. It doesn't feel crazy different in terms of size. I think this is practical advice to stick with the same brand. If you switch brands, it can introduce problems. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't, but you should be aware what the problems are. The first problem is, can you use different tablet brands on the same computer? Right? And this gets a little complicated to answer, but here's my experience. On Mac OS, right, installing different brand drivers did not interfere. And I've tried it on 3 separate, what do they call them? Apple Silicon Macs. Okay? Some people do have problems. Some people report problems. I have never seen the problem. And what have I tried? So simultaneously, I haven't tried these. Simultaneously, I've tried Huion, XP Pen, Sense Labs, and Wacom. And the drivers have just all worked. Okay? Now in Windows, drivers interfere. But with some configuration, you may be able to avoid the interference for some apps. It's a little bit complicated to explain, but like the problem I see a lot of people doing is they get, let's say they have a Huion tablet and they like it and they go, oh, I want to upgrade. I want to get a Wacom. Even if it makes sense because it's a really much better tablet, they'll plug it in and they install the Wacom driver. Now they got 2 drivers on Windows, and when that causes problems, okay? Actually, we have some interesting comments here. Windows doesn't know how to make drivers play nice. Well, Camilino, it's a combination of Windows, and actually I think it's more the WinTab standard, which is really, in other words, it's kind of Wacom's fault because at least they own the WinTab standard, right? Kay says I had a problem with 2 drivers on Apple. I had to delete Wacom. Yeah, so you've seen the problem. So this is one reason if you're going to you should keep this in mind. So I think the most successful cases. Sorry, I just cannot spell anything today. Not most success with when you uninstall the old brand driver. Okay? That I think that is the most success. So use only a single driver. Okay? And then that'll work. Yeah, WinTab is a real disaster. Kanto, if you did try Open Tablet Driver for Wacom, just remember that it doesn't do any pressure sensitivity tweaking. And for that, there's a plugin called, I'm going to write this name in the chats. Okay, that's the plugin. The OTT plugin for pressure tweaking is Slimy Scylla, right? Created by tablet expert Cube. How's that? Okay. Yeah, Konto, yeah, it's not. Things I don't know what causes the conflict. Because like I said, I have 3 machines and they all work with multiple tablet drivers installed. And, I have installed and uninstalled them just kind of randomly and it still just works. So I don't know what's causing it to have a problem. With Windows, I know because I know Windows much better than Mac OS, right? So yeah, this is a huge problem when people are upgrading, when they are changing brands. I'm not saying they shouldn't change brands, but they should just be aware, right? And then reboot. You got to reboot after you install a tablet driver, okay? Kanto, I can't remember, are you part of our Discord? Because obviously a lot of us use OTD there, so if you are, just let us know when you're experimenting, okay? There's some other features I think that are useful when you're upgrading, and they make sense, but we got to talk about them specifically. Now, some people get mad when I say this, but it's touch is the problem. So should you upgrade for touch? And I would say, honestly, this is my take, right? Touch on pen tablets is not great. Okay, that's the first thing. It's just not great. I would never tell somebody, if the reason you're getting, let's say, another tablet is because it has, a pen tablet, okay? Let me just qualify that. Oops. Do not upgrade for this reason. Okay. Now, what about pen displays? I think it depends. So I would say on Windows, touch works great. Because Windows has good built-in support for touch. Windows has good built-in support for touch devices. So I've been very happy with tablet, even though I don't use them very often. They work well with Windows, right? Konto, good suggestion. I'm gonna mention that in just a second. The tour box, right? For Mac OS, so I think if you are expecting a touch pen display to give you an iPad experience with macOS, you will be disappointed. Okay? You will be absolutely disappointed. Also, in general, touch on macOS does not work as well as Windows Touch. So I wouldn't say for touch, if you look across this, there's only one case where I think touch will work well for an upgrade, which is you're going to a pen display on Windows, okay? Ben Boykmus, how can someone have 300 to 500 keybinds? No way. You've got to be exaggerating. And which app is it that they have so many keybinds? Or do you mean multiple apps all added up together or something? Because I cannot imagine this. I just cannot imagine this case. Okay, wireless. Yeah, good reason for upgrading. Upgrade. But I would say beware. Wireless may introduce a little extra pointer lag. Okay? $100 Kanto? I can't understand what. Again, tell me which app, Ben Boykmus and Kanto. I'm curious. Where you have 100 or hundreds of things. Buttons, dials. Nah, I think some people like them. Some people accidentally press them. That was my biggest issue with them, right? And this is where I'd say, instead of a tablet upgrade, this is where we get to, consider getting a toolbox. You know, I love my toolbox, right? I absolutely love. Oh, it's Meow. Let's see. Hello and question. Dzień dobry, Michał. Did anyone use a flight stick as a toolbox? No. I've always wanted to, though. I've always wanted to. I used to play a lot of flight simulators a long time ago, so I always fantasized about having, like, on the left is the throttle, right? Let me just show everyone what I'm talking about, because people maybe do not know what it looks like. This sounds like a weird name. Thrustmaster, throttle. Yeah, this is probably. I think I may have had this actually. So, yeah, this is on the left side, on your left hand, and so I always wanted like this for painting. And to me, when I use the toolbox in my head, I'm kind of like thinking about using it like this, right? Because, you know, how can I say this? So there's a throttle there. So if you push it forward, you'll go from like standard power, military power to like afterburner. And I've always thought like, oh, that's how I want to, I don't know, increase the pressure sensitivity or the width of the brush or something, is by moving the throttle up and down. Or maybe do what Maverick did in the latest Top Gun movie, like split the throttle. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Let's see. 117 shortcuts on Clip Studio. Wow. Wow. Cami Luna has the Toolbox Lite. I'm afraid to upgrade because what if the company drops a whole new model just for Android support? Yeah. Listen, they dropped a whole new model for Mac iPad support. I have the same fear. I'm not going to buy one until I know more about their Android plans, because I already have 3 of them, so I'm not going to buy a 4th, right? Why I have 3 is another mystery. Draw using smoke from the plane. Yeah. Let's see. Konto says I'm started getting into Blender, and I think I'll probably hit 200. Wow. Yeah, flight sticks just, you know, they enable you to feel like you're part of, like something really special is going on, right? So I love it. Okay. I should check to see it, to answer Mihaw's question. Like, can you use it like a toolbox, right? It isn't even that, you know, it isn't even that much more expensive, to be honest. Okay, and I would just say with the toolbox is like you have to commit. You have to commit. Retraining your brain to use a toolbox. Okay. Let's see. Elsa Via says, get a micro 8-bit do controller for Android. Also update the firmware for that side. Okay. Let me add that as an option. Or get a 8-bit do. People have mentioned that one to me before, but I still have yet to try it out. I think so this next one's about the apps. So a lot of people are saying they want to get this happens more when they're talking about, they've already had experience with an iPad. But basically, you know, I would just say verify that the app you want will work on the tablet. Uh, there's no analog controls, Miho. Oh, it's just like a button press, right? So with this app comment, what happens is a lot of people say, "I want to get any drawing tablet that supports Procreate," right? The truth is, the only thing that supports Procreate is the is an iPad, right? So example, only iPads support Procreate. So it's a limiting factor. Age. This is, how can I say this? I would say you should get, if you're going to upgrade, released in the last less than or equal to, I'm making up a number here, let's play with it, 5 years, right? Do not try to upgrade to like an older tablet, okay? Some older tablets are good, but like, as we're gonna see, like, old tablets might be better than your current tablet, but driver support will eventually go away. That's a real problem. The tour box will roll off. Ergonomic complaints, slippery glass. A lot of people say people want a paper texture. I guess my sad reality here is no tablet feels like paper. Like, you should not upgrade for this reason. No matter what the marketing material says. Right? Okay, and then pen choice. Oh yeah, so pens are only compatible with specific tablets. So verify. So you can't just upgrade pens. Can't assume that you can just upgrade pens. Oh, felt nibs. Yeah, that's a good point. Instead, that's a great point, Camilina. Try, what is it? Felt nibs, yeah. Instead, try felt nibs for increased texture. Okay, I think we went through almost every thing that has come up in the threads I found for upgrades. Is there anything else I should address? And while we're here, we can talk about any topic you want. So if there's anything anyone in chat wants me to address, just let me know. More than happy to add that to the list of things we can talk about. But yeah, I think I covered everything, at least in my initial list. There's a lot here. Let's see, Pratik Sun. What do you think, oh yeah, the laptop question. Okay, I do actually have an answer. Let me go get it. I'll be right back. Thanks for reminding me about the laptop question. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. And there's a couple of options we should discuss, right? So remember that this is under the category of standalone, okay? I don't recommend getting a Wacom Mobile Studio Pro or a Huion Canvas Studio. Those are drawing tablets that, they are drawing tablets. They're built by drawing tablet companies, but those are essentially drawing tablets merged with a laptop, right? And the key thing is they really are intended for drawing, right? Because they use special pens for drawing. They're called drawing tablets. They're made by drawing tablet companies. And you wouldn't buy one unless you intended to really draw with their pen, okay? And then you have, on the other end, you have devices like an iPad, right? And those obviously aren't laptops. In the middle, you have laptops that support pens. And I've used a bunch of them. I actually have some of them in front of me, so we'll talk about them. Okay, and this is the Microsoft Surface Pro 8, okay? And I'm just gonna show it here, and then the keyboard folds down here. There's a little pen here. This is the Surface Slim Stylus, right? Let me just show it to you. I think this is the overhead. No. Is this it? No. Where is the overhead? There we go. So this is it's kind of flat. Can you see it? It's actually not round. It's kind of like a rectangular almost, right? So it will not roll, right? It will just lay on one side. Anyway, the Surface pens used to be just utter trash, right? And they really improved it with this one. It still has a lot of wobble. Now, if you're talking about a laptop and you need Windows and you're going to do note taking, then this probably will work for you very well. If you're doing artistic or you're doing whiteboarding, if you are doing artistic stuff, this is probably tolerable, but I wouldn't recommend it. Okay? Another reason is this laptop, which is an Intel. This is a Surface Pro 8, so it still has an Intel chip. Like every Surface device I've ever used, it decides to just turn on its fan and start spinning and making that noise. Not often, but it happens, and it's quite irritating, right? But again, especially if you're a student, you're note-taking, or you're whiteboarding, or you live in a corporate environment, this actually works pretty well, okay? But for drawing, I wouldn't recommend it, though you could do it. You could do it. The specific model is like, I spent a lot of money on this one. This is like 32 gigabytes of RAM and I think a 1 terabyte storage. That cost me a lot of money back then. It's probably a little bit cheaper now. Now they're up to the Surface Pro. They had the Surface Pro 9 and then they're up to something now. But I'm not going to buy them until they're better, honestly. So that's option number one, okay? Macs are out of the question. None of them support pen, right? Okay. Now let me tell you the device. Now it's also a little expensive, okay? But it's this thing. Now I've been using this for at least I think about a year now, okay? And I've been using it every day. In fact, this is the laptop I most often use. Now, I use this to watch movies. It doesn't have an Intel chip. It has what does it have? No, it does have an Intel chip. It has one of the ones that are the newer ones. I forgot what they're called. But they're better for power, okay? And they have some AI engine in there or whatever. So this is the Samsung Galaxy Book Pro 360. Okay, let's just find out how much this is. This is actually a good question. Galaxy Book 5. Galaxy Book 5 Pro 360. I think that's the name of it. Okay. Yeah. Here we go. So this is a 2-in-1. And yeah, it's a Core Ultra 7 processor. But how much is it? Let's try to click buy. Oh, you can't see my screen, sorry. Okay, I bought this one. So I bought it's $1,700, okay? And it came with the pen, the S Pen. We'll talk about the pen in a second. So the first thing you'll notice, though, is that is the size difference. So this is like a 16-inch laptop. And then here's the Surface next to it, which is like 13 inches, right? So the size is substantially different, okay? There's one limitation here, like at least in the US, you can't buy this with more than 16 gigabytes of RAM. However, for my purposes, that has worked extremely well, okay? Why they have the limitation? I don't know. It's got super well-controlled heat. The fans don't really come on. I did the first, I don't know, day the fans came on. I think that was Windows, because Windows was like updating 50 million times. It was downloading like a bajillion gigabytes of updates from Microsoft. So this thing was like, a little bit warm, and the fan was spinning for the first, I don't know, let's just say 12 hours. But the second day it was just silent, and it's just been silent since. I don't think I've heard the fan come on since that day, okay? So it's big, and here's a couple of things. I know it's dirty as hell, isn't it? I feel bad showing this. There's like just stuff, grit, and I don't know, something. Let me, hang on a second. Let me try to log in for a second. Let me log. How do I even log in here? Okay, hang on. I'm going to log in, and it just kind of helps you to see when the screen's on. Okay, and let's log in here. I think I know the password. So it's just logging in. Now, the first thing as I'm doing the login, there's no place to put the pen here, so you just have to hold the pen somewhere else. Okay, it's logged in. So it is touch sensitive. I like that. Do I have a Samsung S Pen here? I don't think I do, but it's a Samsung S Pen, of course, since it's a Samsung device. And I actually usually connect this to a pen display or a pen tablet, but you can actually just do this with it and use it, upside down, and use it like a drawing tablet. The S Pen, when you're using it with the Samsung device, is pretty good. It's better than when you're using it with a Wacom device, by the way. It's not as good as maybe an XP Pen X3 Pro, or certainly not a Pro Pen 2, but it's a very reasonable, decent drawing experience. If I had to say pick something as a laptop to draw with, I would suggest this to people. Okay. Now it's a little big at 16 inches, right? So people might find that a little bit awkward. I think there's a smaller version of it, but I like this one. There are probably others, but this is what I like. Okay, let me just take a look at. Do the new S Pens have replaceable tips like the Apple Pencil? I think they do. I've just never, and Elsevier is saying that, I've just never done it myself. Let's see. Book 5 is the most recent one. I have the non-pro Book 3 360, and I love it. Yeah, I surprised me how much I like this, right? It really surprised me how much I like this. And I have shown this to people on the stream, but I've never really talked about it. And I'm actually thinking if there's another one, like a Book 6, I would get it. I would not have any hesitations getting it. The only way it can really be better for me is two ways, actually. Number one, this will never happen, not in a million jillion years, but I want to work with the Wacom Pro Pens, okay? I hear, just a related topic, I hear that there's a new Samsung S Pen coming. And I don't know if that S Pen is going to be backward compatible with this, but it's got some new technology, so it probably won't. And it may have problems for artists, but I am curious about it. But I hear they're releasing that with some new devices. So that was the one thing. I wish it would let me use another pen in addition to the S Pen. So S Pen's not bad. It's okay. It's okay. The other way it could be better for me is, like I said, in the United States at least, you can only get it with 16 gigabytes of RAM, and that's a decent amount for a lot of things. I've been using Clip Zero Paint for over a year with this thing, drawing a lot, and it's worked just fantastic. Now, I don't use a million layers. For me, it's like I have 10 layers, okay? Maybe 20 layers sometimes. If I could purchase a version of this with 32 gigabytes of RAM, I would get that. So that's my hope. I hope that there's a Book 6 360 that lets me have more RAM. And if that was the only change, I would get it. I've been super happy with this, and I have no hesitation in recommending it. So let's just take a look at any other comments here. Who was it that asked that question? I think that was, let's see. This was, oh yeah. So yeah, let me know if that helped out, right? Now again, the reason I mentioned the memory is if you're doing animation, I'm not sure it's going to be enough, right? And I don't know, since we're going to be drawing, since I think you want to draw on something, if that's a requirement, I don't know of any of the laptops that have good pen experience, right? If the pen, like you don't want to literally draw on the laptop like this, then the easiest thing to do is just get a good, like a MacBook and connect it to a pen display, right? Like the Move Ink or the Canvas 13 Gen 3. And that'd probably be cheaper than getting, it's definitely cheaper than getting a Wacom Mobile Studio. So those are, I think, the good options these days. Let's see. Let's see, Nizio. I think the S Pen feels the best on the Galaxy Book 360. It feels more accurate. What I notice is that if you take the S Pen, and remember the S Pen uses a technology called UD-EMR. I think the UD stands for Ultra Digitizer. So it's kind of a consumer pen technology from Wacom. And there's a bunch of pens that use this technology. Sometimes it's labeled as Wacom Feel. But I think Voidat's is saying something funny. The S Pen on a Wacom tablet, Wacom's firmware or driver increases the IAF, so it's not as good as an experience. I don't know what it does to the max pressure. I'm not sure if it does anything. But with a Samsung device, the S Pen doesn't have that limitation in my testing. Like it feels better to draw with. It gets to a lower initial activation force. Again, I didn't test the max pressure, but the S Pen actually works better with a Samsung device than a Wacom device, which is interesting. And it doesn't matter which Wacom device. It could be Intuos Pro, or it could be a Wacom One. The UD-EMR pens seem to be a little gated in their performance on a Wacom device. Let's see. At least the S Pen is. And I think the other UD-EMR pens are, because I don't think they know which pen is which for UD-EMR, because it's a much simpler kind of implementation. Okay, Voidat says the best tablet is clearly the clay tablet from 6,000 years ago. Yeah, maybe that is. Maybe that is. Okay, Miluna, you raised something interesting. I totally didn't even think about that. So the Samsung, yeah. Actually, you know what? I can test it here. I've never tried the tilt on this thing. Give me a second. I'll be right back. Let me get an S Pen. Okay, I'm back with an S Pen, and I'm going to try that. I've never tried it, but I just want to confirm. I mean, I believe you. It just surprised me a little bit, maybe. Let me get to my site, docs7pens.com. You all can't see what I'm doing, so let's get there. And it never occurred to test this to me. Let's see, 7pens tablet tester. Let me turn it on. Okay, and I'm turning it on just to use tilt. So if you see the thickness change, it's only because I'm tilting the pen, okay? Hey, it's changing the thickness, yeah. It's not pressure, it's tilt that's doing it. Okay, I discovered something new. Wacom also limits these pens from having tilt on their consumer devices, but the Samsung just lets it work. Okay, and again, if you're using this pen, let me use pressure for a second. Let me clear the screen. You can see me draw. Oops, that was my finger touched it. That's what happened there. Let me try not to touch it with my finger. Like the pressure response actually feels decent, right? Compared to on the same Wacom device. I need to do more testing. Yeah, I'll do a little more testing, but I think it actually works a little bit better on a Samsung device. Okay, let's see. I didn't have any drivers installed. Yeah, okay, you can't see this, but let me see if I can zoom in for a second. I want to show you something. So this is all I want you to do is pay attention to the cursor underneath the pen. It's not a pointer, right? Like if I use my finger on the desktop, well, the finger doesn't do shit. But can you see here? It's like a little weird little dot. What that dot tells you is that it's not a Wacom driver or some special driver. It's the Windows plug and play driver, the PNP driver, right? So yeah, it's just using Windows built-in tablet driver for the S Pen. Let's see. Do you miss old Wacom Graphite tablet? They were able to customize by adding an image under the glass. And I don't think I ever had that one. My experience with the Wacom has really been with the Pro tablets. Let's see. The Wacom One pen also feels better. Yeah, that's what I'd expect because all the UDMR pens have a really simple implementation, and I don't think the tablets can tell them apart. They all look like the same pen basically. And project that says that helped. Okay, good. Okay. Okay. Any other topics, questions? I'm not going anywhere, right? By the way, officially now in my time zone, it's July the 4th. Now, I just want to share something. It's a little bit of a cultural thing, so everyone understands what's about to happen. Okay, so, July 4th is when the United States celebrates, independence. Now, I'm just going to give you a few data points that may not be obvious to you, okay? So, this is 2025. 2026 is the 250th birthday of America, okay? So July 4th to next year is going to be a really big event, okay? And I know it's going to be a big event, okay? And the reason is, because I'm old, I was here for the United States 200th birthday in 1976. And I was talking to my mom about it, and I'm just going to make you all jealous. It was like a party environment for a year. Like you couldn't imagine the good mood that was going on in the entire country. Stars and stripes everywhere. You cannot imagine how much you were inundated with, USA, like 24/7, everywhere. Every store, every sign, every road was just filled with these celebration things. And that lasted for a long time. And starting today, July 4th, 2025, our President Trump is having basically a year-long party, so to speak. There's like a year's worth of events that start today, July 4th, go all the way to July 4th, 2025. So the party begins today. And all politics aside, it's going to be a wild ride, right? So again, when it's these big celebrations, because in 1976 it was 200 years, this one's going to be 250 years, which is another big deal, right? So I just wanted to share that little bit of cultural tidbit, because it's not totally obvious to a lot of people that it's a special year we're leading up to in 2026. Happy Fireworks Day to Americans, Camila says. Okay, let's take a look. Would Trump give away drawing tablets? One can only hope. I feel like we have the budget for it. With all the, who knows? Can't be that expensive. How about that? How about if the United States government, the federal government, actually had drawing tablet centers where we could go and try out different tablets, and it was all taxpayer funded. That would be fun. I like that idea. And then everyone would get, they'd get a chance to try out hundreds of drawing tablets if they wanted to, and they could just pick the one they liked, and the United States government would buy it. And it would be specially branded with USA 1776, 2026, right? We want big, beautiful tablets. We've only got the best tablets, folks. I can't do a Trump impersonation. But you gotta do this, and you gotta pout a little bit with the lips. And that Shane Gillis does a good one. We can't. How would Trump say it? We don't want tablets from China. Having said that, I'll be honest with you. In this next year, starting today, ending next year, I expect Huion and XP Pen to deliver some great tablets. I'm counting on it. I am absolutely counting on it. If getting quality tablets in the hands of more people means China's power grows, I'm there for it. I want them to succeed. Okay. Uh, we get free tablets, but have to pay the tariff. Oh yeah, I forgot about the tariffs. Has anyone noticed the tariffs increase, like in any devices yet? I haven't noticed it yet. Maybe I just don't notice that they're there. Um, the Cintiq Pro was what, $1,700. That was probably slightly more expensive. The Cintiq 24 Touch is maybe it affected that. It seemed a little more expensive than I would have guessed, right? Okay. Anything else? Okay, I think we're good. Everyone, this was a fun stream. Yuffo says no. Oh, nice PFP there. Leonard Nimoy. I think we covered everything I wanted to cover. Again, what I'm going to do is I took notes, as everyone saw right. Oops, let me show it to you. I took notes here, and then what I'm going to do is talk. I'll create some slides and talk through it, and share it as a video. Maybe I'll record it tomorrow, right? Since no one else is doing anything, and I'm not going to celebrate tomorrow. My partying days are well past me. Nizio says Cintiq 24 versus. Oh God. Oh, this is tough. Honestly, compare. It's a good question. I will answer it. Yes. I'm kind of really. I'll be honest with you. I hate to say this. I'm really in love with the Cintiq 24. Yeah. I didn't expect to be. I didn't expect to like it as much. I thought it would feel too big, number one. But I really do like it. I really, really do like it. About the only thing that, there's only two negatives. One, it doesn't let me use the S Pen, which the Intuos Pro 25 does, which is a minor negative. And the other negative is, what's the other negative? I don't think it's a big deal that it's only 4K. I think that's fine, right? Touch works great, works better than I expected on a Mac, but of course it works best on Windows. What was the other disappointment on it? Sorry, forget the disappointment. The thermals were great. Like it's 100% brightness, it's room temperature, right? I'm touching it, it's right in front of me. Was there another disappointment I had? I don't think I was really disappointed at the price. No, I wasn't disappointed. I think I expected it to be like that price. In fact, I may have even been surprised it didn't cost more. But yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. And again, the Artist Pro 22 Gen 2 is half the cost. So I think I would recommend it for people because it's the better deal by far. But this is really good. And I think lots of people will end up getting this tablet. I mean, this is my guess. Lots of people will get the Cintiq 24 Touch because, well, Wacom's brand still has a lot of value. And it is a great tablet. It really is a great tablet, right? Let's see. Yafo says, I want to be able to use Fresco on a 25 display. You know what? I haven't used Fresco in a long time. I keep promising myself I will. So maybe that's something I will explore, right? I have even thought about seeing if I can incorporate the new Cintiq 24 into my live streams more. Like today, I used it to draw on, right? Like when I was drawing earlier in the stream, you saw me drawing on this. And I'm thinking I actually may want to permanently set it up as my whiteboarding thing for live streams, right? Yafo says, I own 3 other Wacoms. Oh, are they all pen displays? I'm always interested why people have multiple Wacoms and which ones they have. I'm just super curious because I have a lot of Wacoms too. Let's see. Void Fresco's free. Yes, Fresco is free. You have to have an Adobe account, which is free itself, but that's the only requirement. Once you have the Adobe account, Fresco is free. I've played with Fresco a couple of times. It's just, it doesn't work like Clip Studio Paint and it doesn't work like Procreate, so it always confuses me to get started, right? but I need to give it a chance because I think Adobe is trying to push it, right? And I'm more than happy to learn it, but like it just works so differently than the way I would expect. And I don't think they advertise it well, to be kindly honest. I really don't. Okay, I'm waiting for any more questions before I end the stream. How long have I been going? 3 hours. I've noticed my streams tend to go 3 hours, which is kind of funny. It's almost consistently going 3 hours, maybe 3 hours, 30 minutes. Let's see, Nizio has 680, Pen and Touch, Cintiq 22HT, and one by Wacom S. Okay, pretty diverse mix there, Martin. Pretty diverse. And Yafo has Cintiq Pro 24 non-touch, Cintiq Pro 16. Good choice. I really like the Cintiq Pro 16. And Movink, yeah, Movink. Yeah, good night to you, Yafo, and thanks for the 4th of July. Oh, I forgot Fresco was not on Android, meow. I forgot about that totally. Okay, my voice is getting raspy, and I am feeling a little tired, so again, everyone, thanks for the stream. This was a great, really fun stream. Thanks for being very interactive, having lots of questions. I really appreciate it. And again, I'll be streaming soon, and I will probably stream tomorrow because nothing else happening in my life tomorrow. I'm not partying or going out and doing fireworks or anything. So hopefully some of you I'll see you tomorrow. Okay? Again, have a great day or night. I'll see you all soon.